Hi, it's been a while since Tolkien on Tap has even been a thing. I had some things going on last year. There was some unnecessary drama. I have that all worked out, and I am going to be restarting Tolkien on Tap. The format is going to be a little bit different going forward, but in the meantime, this is one of the last interviews that I did with my friends Zay and David. So, welcome back to Tolkien on Tap. All right, guys, let's fuck shit up. We're going to talk about resistance tonight. Joining me we've got the blurty dad himself, Mr. Zay. How you doing, Zay?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing great,
Wonderful.
man.
Doing well.
Doing great. This is the first time no, because I've had Jen and George. I was gonna say this is the first time where I've had two people come back that have been here, so we don't have to do introductions except for hello. Zay is our Build a Pony tonight. It is at time of recording. It is a work night for Zay, so he's gonna keep us safe tonight. Thank you very much, Zay. We do need to build a pony during resistance. And then we also have basically one of my like rotating guest hosts, David Donaldo. How you doing, David?
Doing well. Almian.
Oh man, you got your Lord of the Rings mug?
Yep.
Chalice?
Yes, it's chalice. Make sure we use the proper.
Right. Who's on that one?
It's the Aragorn one. I actually got it for like $10 at a book off.
Nice. What are you
Was
drinking
that from
tonight?
like back in the day? I think it was like back in the day. It was like a
Oh, there
Burger
was
King or something offer.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was like
It was
a
like
goblet.
I'm not sure if you can
for
see,
the
but
first movie,
it's
right?
for Fellowship. Yeah, it
Okay.
has
Yeah, I
Fellowship.
remember those. Oh my god.
I
So I
used to
have
have them. I'm sure
Aragorn
my
and
parents still have them.
I have Gandalf. But
We had
Gandalf, it's missing the base.
we had all four, and I hope to God my parents still have them because my parents, like me, don't like throwing things out. But what are you drinking tonight, David?
I am drinking the first one I have is this blue cotton candy hard seltzer from Harlan Brewing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's made for summertime, but I guess it could be like a more of a, got the trans rights type of coloring to it as
Oh,
well.
nice.
So
Yeah, nice. What's your other one? You said that your first one was that.
the next one I have is by the same brewery. It's where I do trivia at. So I have like
Nice.
gift cards from like the last 3 years.
Plug them, dude. Plug them.
So I'm like, well, because I do trivia there. So I have gift cards from the time my team. I mean, not to brag, but my team has won a lot of times. So we've had over
brag,
like
but I'm gonna brag real quick.
$350 worth of gift cards. I had used my share of it, but the people who I had played with from that period have not shown up in like the last 2 years. So I'm like, okay, I'm finally dipping into their stash because I haven't heard from y'all, like that type of thing. So
yeah,
it's fair game. Like what's the legal term? The
finders keepers.
Yeah.
I think it was my sister used to say finders keepers, losers sweepers. She thought it meant like if you lose, you got to clean the house.
Yeah. But yeah, the other one's just a Japanese rice lager is the other one.
Very nice. I have it's called Voodoo Ranger.
Oh, I love
Juicy
Voodoo.
Haze IPA. I don't know where it's from. I like skulls, and it's got a skull on it.
Yeah, that's a pretty I know they sell that at least at 7-Elevens here. That and like the big tall boy one.
Oh, I got a sixer. I had one earlier in the week, and sixer like I'm from the fucking 70s. I had one earlier in the week and I really liked it. So I got that. And I also have my shot glass filled with rum and juice. Is this? I got some juice up in here. I just poured. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I was
orange strawberry banana.
I was debating doing some whiskey highballs.
Do it.
I was like, I don't know if I got time to, because I do still have actually you'll like one of the bottles because it's the Scorpio figure from the anime Saint Seiya.
Nice.
His brand of whiskey. And then I also have another Japanese whiskey that I finally brought home that I had for like a year.
Nice. All right, well, we're going to get into resistance. So before we do, I'm going to do a shot and say Almian to everyone.
Almian.
Let's raise the Shire tonight, gentlemen.
Let's raise it.
I'm going to get fucked up in this episode. Oh, you know what? Real quick, I'm going to go through the drinking rules. Shit, I totally forgot. Welcome to my podcast where I forget everything all the time. I specifically went to the living room to make sure that I had this notebook so I could do this, and I forgot. Okay, drink if we say. Game is not on right now. This applies to people who are not drinking. If you have a beverage near you, also please take a drink just to make us not feel like alcoholics. I appreciate it.
Solidarity.
There's gonna be a big theme of solidarity tonight. So we need you. All right, so we drink if we say Finderato or Finrod. Finwë Nola Finwë or Fingolfin, Nelia Finwë, Maitimo, Rosendal, what the hell, Maedhros, I forgot a Sindarin name. If we say fuck Eluthingol, Elwë Singulo, Elwë Sindiculo, if Athrobeth is brought up, if Shibboleth is brought up, if Finwë, Finarfin is brought up, if we talk about Gandalf loving hobbits, if Vadomir is brought up, this one will happen tonight. If we say for Frodo, get ready for that one tonight. Any of Turin's names, if we mention Huon, if Lotro is mentioned, footnote 33, we got him in the building, so that could happen. And new one, Grand. Before the game starts, Grand. All right, let's get into it tonight. So
should have had at least one drink.
Hey, feel free. Listen, it's a work night. If you don't feel like it, that's completely valid.
Yeah, I know, because I'm like when we did the live, when we did the group live, the last one you did. Oh my god, the next morning was kind of crazy. I'm feeling like, why the fuck did I do this?
Good. Like, well, that didn't help that we had someone in the chat who was purposely saying things from the drinking game to get us to drink. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but
y'all were missing shots after a while.
I need you to understand, Jose. I need you. Let me back this up real quick. For those who weren't around, I went and I got this rum actually is from that night, and I got a mixer for daiquiris. I don't have a blender, and with that mixer, you're supposed to blend it with ice, and I was drinking that shit straight. I had syrup and alcohol. It was disgusting. So that's why I stopped taking shots after a little bit, and then I switched to juice, and everything was fine. I was fucked up the next day too.
And I was drinking. I think I had like some brandy left, and I'm like, by the time we got off, I was like, I don't know why I'm upset. But I want to fight somebody. I wanted to fight somebody for real. I was like, okay, so now that I know how brandy affects me, I'm just gonna try something different.
You had brandy?
I was angry. I don't know what. Like, I drank about like a good amount of it, and I'm like, why do I feel like I want to fight somebody? I actually had enough energy to actually take somebody off the planet. I was like, why am I upset right now?
All right, so let's use that energy. Let's use that energy, and we're gonna get into resistance. So I specifically wanted to talk about resistance because of the state of the world for Americans. Obviously, it's not the world. America's not the world, but the state of affairs for what's going on in America. We've got someone who is a 34 time felon, 34 time felon, convicted rapist,
felon 34.
Yeah. Felon 34. God damn it. So anyways, we got this criminal in fucking office. There's been talk of like he said things like that he rigged the election. Fucking Elon has said it there. Fucking hailing Hitler, Sieg Heilen all over the place. Fucking Fox News at the time of this recording, just yesterday, Fox News was talking about taking back the word Nazi, like black people took back the N-word, which is fucking ridiculous on two fronts. Just all the Epstein shit ain't getting released. That's for some reason, like it doesn't exist, but they won't release it. And they voted to not release something that doesn't exist. It's fucking weird, man. Anyways, so with all this bullshit we got concentration camps fucking coming back too. They're making a fucking strong comeback. Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell's going on? Anyways, with all that bullshit going on top of all the fucking like anti-trans legislation and the fucking hate of LGBTQIA people and immigrants and all the fucking everyone, unless you're cishet white. With all that going on, I wanted to talk specifically about resistance and how important the chapter, the Scouring of the Shire is, and the fact that I think it's an atrocity that Peter Jackson did not include it in his films. It didn't need to be a trilogy. It could have been 4 films. You could have made a fucking epilogue film. So I wanted to talk specifically with these two. So let's get into it. David and Zay, let's talk about resistance. What do you guys have to say? We don't have to go straight into Scouring of the Shire if you guys want to, you know how this place goes.
So I have a couple of things. I have Hekar, which if you know, you know. But also, I was rethinking this too, because given the double H's within Hekar, maybe we should just use Helkaroxe as type of like the phrase as far as grinding down ice. That might be a better one. But also,
fair.
I will. I know you've read the paper, TJ, but I'll probably be drawing a lot more from Tolkien's On Fairy Stories, and the way that On Fairy Stories kind of overlaps with the Black liberation theology of James H. Cone. I wrote a paper having them in dialogue with one another, and kind of the need for them to discuss and talk, as well as the ways that, stories, whether it be fairy stories, myths, fantasy, are vehicles for cultivating liberation. Thinking back to the time of when Black people were enslaved in the Americas, and the ways that, oftentimes that songs of hope, amidst the discatastrophe of being bondage, they serve to be these songs of hope to, communicate the goal of liberation, even sometimes even in a more cryptic way, so that, the slave owners wouldn't recognize what they're discussing. Same thing with, the folk tales of, say, Brer Rabbit, Brer Wolf, Brer Fox, Brer Bear, as far as the trickster, and the way that that's utilized as far as stories to get across, liberatory messages to the intended audience.
Yeah. Zay?
Can you repeat the question? I just want to make sure I'm heading in the right direction, TJ.
Oh, there's no direction. It's just it's just resistance, and like the importance of, basically, like the importance of like literature and art, and in Tolkien's work specifically, like the importance of that and resistance.
Oh, they're important in resistance. Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you were posing a question. I'm sorry.
No. It's just kind of an open dialogue topic.
Well, resistance is always it's an important subject, of course, in our world today. Because I mean, resistance, when it all guts down to, is fighting the system. And speaking on the Scouring of the Shire, from what I read, I know it's been a while since I read it, but I still remember it. And I remember mostly from it is that, like, even though, like, when they came back to the Shire and to see that it was not the same place that they left it, like, it changed, everything was different, but they've been on their own journey. They've been, they've seen war, they've been in the biggest battles of their life, but now they have to come back and bring everything that they learned back home, and teaching a people that they've grown up with, that they love, that they've known, everything that they know there is there. They have to now show them how to resist. Resistance is something that is learned, but is also, it endures. That's what I learned from the Scouring of the Shire. It is, even though that they knew all how to survive, I'm trying to get my words together. Like you said, my brain is going quicker than my mouth is. But
no, it's all good, Zay. This is this is just supposed to be like colloquial, like just hanging out with friends, man. So
just
like,
hanging out with friends.
Yeah,
Okay.
say how you feel. Like,
I'm in the same boat too, so don't worry about
yeah, that's why I don't I specifically don't send out questions beforehand, because like I want raw answers from people,
Right. Well, but in terms of resistance, I'll start over.
You have to start over.
Yeah, because it felt like I had a point, and then I felt like it kind
So
of.
you were talking about like it's learned, and they came back from their journeys, and they had to teach the Shire how to resist.
Okay, well, teaching the Shire how to resist, because as we know, the hobbits of the Shire, they have been like nothing but comfort. They didn't have to know about the problems of the outside world. So you have Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin coming back, being that light of resistance, and showing that you don't have to accept what this new sheriff of which we know later became Saruman. You don't have to take this type of tyranny. You have to fight back. This is something, like, this is your home. You don't just lie down and just take this type of abuse, that take this type of tyranny and things like that. But resistance only starts when someone is willing to step out and say, no, this is not right. No, we have to fight back. No, we have to be better than what we're doing right now. Because I mean, I'll connect this in our own world. Like, I know we see things going on, but who is willing to actually step out and who's actually willing to step out and to lead the charge of resistance? No one can't resist unless you're not resisting yourself. And I felt like when it comes to Tolkien's work, Tolkien always wanted to push the system. He was always about not wanting to let evil win. Like, evil, like, if you stop evil and evil persists, then it's over. You don't. It's always coming down to that point of that one choice can affect the future. So resist. If you don't resist in that moment, who else will? If you don't take that one step, who else will? So that's that's what I kind of took from it mostly.
Yeah, and you bring up some really good points because I went on it was going to be 2 hours, but I had already done a half an hour of work, so it was only an hour and a half walk that I went on earlier. And I was listening to the Scouring of the Shire while I walked. And there's a specifically to what Zay was talking about. This is a quote from Mary. They hate all of this, you can see. All of them except one or two rascals and a few fools that want to be important, but don't at all understand what is really going on. But Shire folk have been comfortable for so long, they don't know what to do. They just need a match.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ties in. I know we've discussed this before as far as on the first few episodes. But like my favorite character, Finwë Nola Finwë, right? As far as
you did that to yourself. Well, and to me.
As far as that opening chapter or the opening paragraphs within the Battle Set in Flame, it talks about how it's really only Finwë Nola Finwë, Iconaro or Aignor, and Angarato, Angrad are the only ones that see what's going on. Are like, no, we actually have to go directly to the source because everybody else is just chilling out, being lackadaisical, not doing anything. We need actually. This isn't going to last if we don't do something, direct action.
Yeah. Also, by the way, don't feel free to not cinderize any names you don't want to. This isn't. We don't have like the massive, not massive, but we don't have.
No, I'm just more for more for anybody. I don't want them to feel left out.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so you get that, and even with, as we know as readers, Finwë Nola Finwë wasn't going to win. I do think that it's kind of, I still hold that he didn't know that, and that it's kind of like a John Brown scenario, right? That it's like, yeah, the odds aren't in my favor, but I'm at least going to try to do what needs to get done as far as attacking and doing this. And I think those are things, again, and applicable things from Tolkien that we can carry over into our own real world. I think that are beneficial, that other people need this kind of wake up call to what's going on. I think it's also one of the reasons why we also need to discuss so it doesn't happen, if we manage to avoid and curb what's currently going on and avoid, even more grievous things of the waves that are coming within our country. Also understanding that, hey, like this is stuff that has been going on since the inception of the Americas. America as a foundational country has everything that's going on has been done to Black people and has been done to Native Americans in this country.
Oh, and the flag has had blood on it from the minute it was created.
And so,
Absolutely.
And so when we discuss these things, it I kind of irks me a lot when people talk about, oh, we're slowly sliding into fascism. No, fascism took all of its guidance from what America did.
Right.
I mean, Hitler and the Nazis, they took their concentration camps in the way that they treated Jewish people, Romani people, LGBTQ people, and the like, and disabled people. And everyone else, they took those cues from America and how they treated the indigenous people. 100%. So we need to, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like one of the big things, if you discuss progressive ideas or leftist ideas, it's like, oh, you've read too much theory, you haven't done enough praxis, and vice versa. But most people who do praxis usually are pretty well in tune with the theories or have come to the theories themselves. So I think a lot of people need to be more that kind of educational aspect. As far as like where have we gone, when you look at the Black Panthers, when they're reading lists, as far as in order to join the Panthers, there are books you have to read. There's reading material you have to do to join, to be part of this, so that you are you're educated enough to know what's going on. And people, a lot of times people don't understand where America was originally, and they think fascism just cropped up. It's like, no, it's been here. It's always been here.
It's in the DNA.
Yeah, it's baked in, and that's
been here.
That's a really good point you bring up too, David. The education aspect. Unfortunately, we were not able to have the third guest tonight, Alicia Del Cedeno, who is a teacher, and we were going to talk about that aspect of how important education is in resistance, and how important for the side that wants to take over lack of education is. But we've all gone to school, and we can all see how the world is working right now, and we see how terrible the education system has become over the past 40 years, 45 years specifically,
Yeah.
current, like always just cutting funds, cutting funds, cutting funds. And it
Yeah.
like, listen, I'm an artist, like I'm always going to harp on the art thing, but like that's such an important thing. I
Right.
understand that sports are also important and teach teamwork, but what the fuck do you think arts do? Like the arts do the exact same fucking thing. Well, they're not going to learn teamwork. The fuck do you think a band is? The fuck do you think a
Right.
play is?
Well,
Right.
and that's the thing is that, like, I mean, to tackle a couple different things that you bring up, TJ, as far as the arts and humanities, not only teaches, on a philosophical level, teaches us as far as on an ethical level, how to relate with one
Mhm.
another, and the impacts. That's it's all this is interconnected with one another.
Yeah.
And I think in addition to what you were saying as far as like the education system, there is a reason why Ronald Reagan screwed over education so much, is because they didn't want people to be educated enough to know about the bullshit stuff that America does, as far as overthrowing governments in Latin America and the rest of the
Mhm.
world. And they literally saw that, oh, there's lots of like people being educated about the things that go on in the world. We can't have that, so let's make education a more difficult thing to attain.
Which is why I'm
Yeah.
shocked that TikTok hasn't actually gone away. Like I
Yeah.
understand videos get suppressed and shit like that, but like the fact that it's still around is wild, because that is such quick access from people who can fact check so fucking quickly.
It's
And
interesting, but
I
then,
believe.
oh, sorry, no, go
No,
ahead, my bad.
I was gonna say that. Well, yeah, TikTok. And I believe TikTok really, when we look back on all this years from now, TikTok will always be that main catalyst to how this information is being pushed,
Mhm.
because TikTok, like I noticed this back in 2020 when everything went back into lockdown. I noticed that even though the government was, even until now, the government was trying to suppress our information, what we were getting. But
Mhm.
that app was always the thing where people always communicated around the world. And I felt like history itself was going to lead to this moment. It was all going to lead to us finding out what we need to change, what we need to do as a country, what we need to do to bridge the gaps, the intersectionality of cultures and things like that. I feel like at this point now in time, it's time to actually bridge that area, that gap with the correct information. And for the last 5 years, from what I've seen, it's happening at a quicker rate than I could
Thank
even
fuck.
fathom. And
Thank
I'm sitting
fuck.
here going like, this is like now and I think that's why they want to attack this app so much. Like me personally, I have learned a lot from TikTok, and
Dude.
it's amazing the exchange of information from everyone around the world about different cultures and things like that. I feel like now they've opened that door and they can't shut it. Even if we do go to other apps and stuff like that, the
I
information
swear to
about.
you, I don't mean to speak over you, but I swear to
No,
you,
no,
the
no, go ahead.
minute the minute TikTok like officially gets shut down, that's the minute actual revolt happens. Watch,
Yeah,
watch.
I believe you.
Because that's
I
the
hope
minute
that.
everyone will go like, oh, this isn't a race war. Oh, this isn't a gender/sex war. Oh, this isn't a generational war. This is a
Like,
fucking class war. Because it's
yeah,
been that way the whole fucking
it's been a red
time.
the whole time. It's been like that the whole time, and a lot of people have been waking up to it. Like the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's going on with Epstein that we're hearing about right now. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of that stuff did not really start coming out until, like, really, I saw the information for that start going through TikTok so many times. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially when he did finally die in prison, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing like, oh yeah, he had this list. Oh yeah, all this money and stuff like, yeah, that. Without that type of app like that to bring us together, we would never have that information to the general population
Mm-hmm.
ever. And that's why I feel like now history is really showing us that we can correct the sins of the past right here in this moment now. And if we don't take this opportunity and start resisting, yes, we do protest, but there's other ways that we can do it. And I feel like now this moment in history, if we don't fight back with more of our ability as citizens, it's 50 years from now, it's not even going to matter because we fell for
Yeah.
it.
Hey, speak to
Really.
that a little bit. Speak to that a little bit, because you said there's more that we could do than protest. Speak to that a little bit.
Well, that I feel like we protest, but then we have to take action. Like, for example, with the Montgomery bus boycott. Like that thing ran for what was it, like over a year, David, correct? Because I know you're a historian, but it was like over a year to like start affecting the actual change that we want to see. Like the
Yeah.
civil rights movement. Like let's take it back to the civil rights movement. When the Montgomery bus boycotts started happening and we started affecting their change. I mean, it started affecting their businesses. Like, you know, how many people took the bus back in the days, and then, you know, when the boycotts did happen, it started, you know, people started carpooling and
Oh, see, I see those as forms of protest. Okay, okay.
okay. Oh,
I see
okay.
where you're
Yeah,
going.
I
I
mean,
see
like
where you're going.
honestly,
next level form of protest.
You're talking about
and
like small acts of resistance that
Well, that can
snowball
really,
into
yeah,
something
like
larger.
that big.
the
Yeah.
thing that people don't really realize about the Montgomery bus boycott and a lot of those things that happen with Dr. King and the movements is that there were black armed groups
Mm-hmm.
that were actually like helped and support, and so a lot of times people kind of push the narrative that it's only peaceful protest. I'm not advocating for violence, but there is a way to also there's also a way for self-defense. I'm blanking on his name, and his book is literally right above my head right now. Or books about him. There is
Take a second to grab the book. That's okay.
Let me just go ahead and put this out there, because I'm not the person to be advocating for violence. Is there's always a way, but it feels like we have to do a little bit more
Well,
in
let me.
terms of, just
So
in terms of when we do with our protests.
yeah, and so here's one thing that I think that resistance should get back to. Who is that, David?
So this is
Timothy Tyson.
Robert F. Williams. He was kind of one of the founders of some
Why does it say Timothy Tyson at the bottom?
so that's the name of the author. So the book is about Robert F.
Oh, it's about. Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
it was basically the roots of Black Power movement starting with him, and kind of armed Black resistance groups that Dr. King definitely was. He's like, yeah, I don't agree that we need firearms because they'll draw on us if we do that. But at the same time, there are a lot of different protests and events that happen to where when the Klan or different law enforcement saw that there was a well-armed group of Black people involved, that they were like, okay, well, we're gonna not push them into doing these things.
So
Similarly, there's the Black Panthers, where a lot
Reagan
of
literally tried to strip all the citizens of California of their guns just to get the Black Panthers rid of their guns.
There's that, but I was going to go to the initial part of the Panthers, as far as that they started their small act of resistance. It's stuff that we see going on with ICE right now. When cops, basically the Panthers, when cops would stop Black people in the Bay Area, they would be right by them, with their guns ready, basically to make sure that they're actually treating them by their rights, they're not harassing them, that type of thing. And so that's a these are very practical ways as far as that. Let's we've entered into an area where there is far over militarization of police forces in America. Let's not get it twisted in that sense. But at the same time, we can see this as something that's happening with ICE too. We see groups, again, just the other day in San Francisco, people protesting outside and standing outside of courthouses in order to make sure that ICE isn't able to come in and kidnap people. You also have the aspect of the Black Panthers that, not even getting into, the more, actively, firearm aspect of it, but getting into that ways that the Black Panthers cultivated, small acts of resistance through free breakfast programs. A lot of the backbone of the Black Panthers was just them feeding kids, feeding children, feeding families. And that was the thing that the state of California realizes what gained a lot of popularity with the Panthers. And so that's why we have, free breakfast programs within the state of California. This is a way for them to manipulate that. And, there are these different things like Food Not Bombs, as well as other mutual aid collectives. Not everything is going to be, at the forefront of like front lines of things, fighting back
That's very, very important. Thank you for bringing that up, David.
It's not all about being at the front line fighting back, physically. Fighting back also happens when taking care of one another, right? Like when we see needs met or needs that need to be met within communities, that's an act of resistance. you're establishing that everybody in your community matters. You're establishing that people's needs can be met without like this capitalist system, this capitalist structure in place, that their needs are going to get met.
Yep. You bring up a couple of really, really good points that also echo in the Scouring of the Shire specifically, just kind of to draw it back. So you talked about, well, first of all, the last thing you just said about like, it's not always about being on the front line. Sometimes it's about caring. Reminder, Frodo didn't fight in the Battle of Bywater. Frodo stood by, and it says that he made sure that the hobbits didn't kill those who threw down their arms and like surrendered. But like Frodo didn't fight. Frodo was there as moral support. He did not touch a sword after he left Mordor. Like he never touched a weapon again, except when Gandalf asked. Now I can't remember. Was he wearing Sting? I think he was. No, it wasn't Sting because that was Sam's at that point. Yeah, he wore what he wore in Mordor, and I do believe that he. No, he didn't wear his son of a bitch.
No,
I didn't prepare
Sam,
enough.
I think Sam had Sting at that point.
Yeah, Sam had Sting, but I can't. I feel like Gandalf tries to get him to wear a sword, and Frodo goes, "Never again." And I believe Gandalf like goes, "Valid, I get it." I can't remember though. I haven't read that part in a while. I did just read Scouring though, so I know that he definitely was not fighting. He said he didn't want to touch a sword. I know that he like at the Field of Cornwall, he definitely talks about how he doesn't ever want to touch a sword again. And like Gandalf kind of is like, "Come on," and I believe he's like, Anyways, the other thing you were talking about is being armed. Oh yeah, okay. So I have two other points: being armed and the like ice agents, like being like, oh shit, like that happens in the Scouring too. Because like once there's a large enough group who have like their pitchforks and their axes and their bows and arrows and staves, not staves, staves, then the sheriffs are like, ah shit, and then the sheriffs get taken prisoner basically. And the very last point, just to culminate all the things that we just talked about. I do understand that I have a little, it's not an issue. There's a bit of a problem with the way resistance happens now to me. There's always this narrative of, well, I don't want to be violent. I don't want to because I don't want to be perceived this certain way. And I can understand that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I feel like by and large, most people are like, well, as long as you're not violent, then we can get things accomplished. I don't think you understand how America was accomplished. Like,
Thank you.
look to Boston specifically. Like the people of Boston in the colonies were like, fuck you, and beat the shit out of, well, they did more than that. But
not only that, but it doesn't matter because violence, I mean,
violence breeds change, unfortunately.
Not only that, but it's also like not to get into like more leftist talking points, but also
be leftist,
I mean, to quote the immortal words of Monty Python, violence is inherent in the system. Like
it really is, though. That's the thing. Is like
the state has a monopoly on violence. Like, what do you think?
Yes.
Like, if you look at the ways, like again, look at Philando Castile. Look at Eric Garner, rest in peace. Like, I know it's the anniversary of his murder today, but like the state's able to get away with murder and violence of their own. And so whether you're armed or not, like I do need people to let that sink in, that whether you're armed or not, if the state wants to unalive you, they're going to unalive you.
Hey, listen, Dave, we're on TikTok. Like, you can say kill.
And so, like, it's better.
Because you're right.
It's better.
I'm pretty sure Breonna Taylor was asleep when she was killed.
Yeah.
She was
another excellent example, as well as again, I believe it was this past week was the anniversary of her murder as well. Like, rest in peace, rest in power. So at the very least, that is something that needs to happen. As far as if, again, I understand that everybody's different. I understand that for some people it may not be within their best like mental capacity to be able to own or anything like that. But I do want to encourage people, if you are going to be, if you're in a state that allows all that, it is better to be prepared. And if you are, make sure that you are actually practicing.
Yes.
That's the other thing, is that with all of this comes practicing, just like with all other aspects of life. To become better at something, you have to practice, especially with something that is literally a life or death situation.
Yeah. And real quick, while we're speaking of this, like violent part of it, because like I am of the mind that like violence breeds change, and only because those who oppress only respond to violence. Now, that being said, there are a couple of quotes in the Scouring of the Shire that should be thought of first. I'm not saying like, oh no, let's just go fucking kill people for no reason. So let me read these a couple real quick, because I wrote these down specifically for this specific topic, not
Okay.
realizing it was going to come up this quickly. So this is Frodo. There is to be no slaying of hobbits, even if they've gone to the other side, really gone over. I mean, not just obeying ruffians' orders because they are frightened, which that's an awesome distinction that he makes that. It's awesome that he makes that distinction because there are those who just follow orders because they're terrified. And then there are people who truly believe that. And even Mary says something about that in the quote I said earlier. Actually, there's two more quotes. So nobody is, this is later down in the same like monologue Frodo's having. Nobody is to be killed at all if it can be helped. Keep your tempers and hold your hands until the last possible moment. So like until you're pushed to your fucking limit, until you gotta defend yourself. Like that's where I'm fine with like now we gotta get violent. Like you can be that like I'm gonna peacefully protest, but the minute a fucking like an agent of the fucking state comes and tries to fuck with you, fight the fuck back if it's safe. If it's safe to do.
Well, can I say something on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's going to get to that point. And I feel like the way more freedoms is, it's just like people are going to have to be ready to do it because it's like we're talking about this, to the last possible minute. We're getting to that last possible. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the one to advocate violence, but like you said, violence is in the DNA of this country. We have to get to the point where we got like this country was bred in the blood of so many immigrant, like the natives, blacks. We may have to get to that point where we're gonna have to fight back physically. And I know, and it feels like to that point. I mean, I want to be careful how I say it because I don't want it to come off the wrong way. But I feel like
see what's in your heart, say.
Yeah, I felt like we've gotten to the point where our protest works, but is it only just for the moment or is it long lasting?
Yep, that's a very valid thing, and that's
also because they inundate us with things so much.
Well, not only inundate, but they themselves. This, like again, look at COINTELPRO. Look at COINTELPRO. The reason why a lot of basically the Black Panthers dissolved into more like street crime is because you had the FBI literally murder and assassinate, or had cops murder and assassinate the different like members. I'm pretty sure it was the FBI that assassinated Martin Luther King.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Again, a lot of people, they were calling him and telling him that he needed to kill himself throughout his life. Right. The murder of Fred Hampton, or assassination of Fred Hampton in Chicago.
Of the Chicago 7. Yeah.
No, not the Chicago 7. Or because that was Bobby Seale in the 1970s.
That's Bobby Seale. That's right. I'm sorry. I know that
Bobby
name.
Seale,
I know that name.
I believe Bobby Seale is still alive, but Fred Hampton is the one. If you watch the movie Judah and the Black Messiah, yeah. So yes. Fred Hampton was the one who was only 21 years old. He was already organizing not only the Black Panthers, was it the Young Lords, as well as the I forget what the white group was that was kind of like from the South, or like from Appalachia, but basically uniting them together. That like, no, the common goal is that we all share the same struggles. And basically the FBI got the Chicago PD to assassinate him in his sleep.
Yeah.
And interesting how that happens a lot.
Yeah. And so that again, back to that point that like, yeah, it's because they saw the impact, right? When the powers that be see the impact that communities or groups have, they try to restrict it or, do away with it. As it was with the Black Panthers within California, it was finding a way to arrest Huey P. Newton, and then Huey P. Newton, while in prison, this unfortunately became more corrupt. And again, that's also something on the side of resistance groups that needs to be in check too, as far as cult of personalities, right? That there needs to be a dual power structure to where there isn't a central figurehead that is able to be, kind of more autonomous or autocratic, I should say, that they're not able to be more autocratic or, develop into totalitarian, because that's eventually what happened after Huey P. Newton came out from prison, is that given the people who he had to make connections with in prison, he eventually kind of became more corrupt and that type of thing, so it left a bad taste in everyone's mouth the way that he would operate after that. And so I think there's things that we need to do as far as to counter the, to resist against the powers that be, but also things as far as on our own end that we also need to make sure that we're checking in or checking ourselves on too.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk more about that, David, because that's a very good point.
Oh, no, it's just, again, kind of cult of personalities, that this isn't about just one single person, right? Like, and it's kind of, it's kind of the thing that a lot of more making the distinction between leftists and like Democrat or leftist and American liberals, that American Democrats, American liberals don't really seem to grasp the concept of, as far as like, we can't have cults of personality. Like, I'm fine with people being fans of people, but kind of like championing certain politicians, really.
God,
like even politicians who, I agree with, like, they're cool and all that, but let's not get into this way of constantly let's not go into stand culture for politicians.
Well, like they just tried to do with Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Even after he was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
I do like that the left side, like, I'll just say Democrats, whatever. I do like that, like, the people who generally vote for Democrats do not do that shit with their politicians. Thank God.
And even the people who I agree with the current Democratic primary nominee, I forget his name, but like, I agree with everything that this guy is saying. I'm pretty sure he would agree with what I'm saying about him, as far as like, we don't need to do any cult of personality with him, as figure. He's there to serve the people, and that's with all of us too, as far as like, whether it be, whether it be a figure like Tolkien, like, we should be able to critique people that we are fans of, and we consider our favorites, and we need to have in this mindset that it's not just about one person, whether it be ourselves or whether it be about anybody else. It's about all of us together. Coming together, not just one person. It's
also insanely dangerous to pedestal a singular person for any reason whatsoever.
And that's why, like, again, dual power structures is usually like the best way to go about that. Like, it's not about, it's not everybody, not only one person should have all power to do things, or final say.
Yep.
And that's part of that revolutionary, like, training and education, is breaking down this idea. That we don't like, and it's weird because it's like, one practical way that we can do this is like, not, again, like using Tolkien as an example. I love Tolkien. Wouldn't be talking with you guys if I didn't love Tolkien, right? But at the same time, like, we should be very open to criticize him and not do any type of, make him out more than what he was, right? And so I think that's an important thing for us as progressing more, as far as like, we should talk about the ways that he does things that are problematic, or maybe written things that are problematic, whether he intended to or not. We should still discuss that. We should still discuss the disagreements with him, because it shows that he was fallible, right? And he would argue that he was fallible. But also,
he wrote about how fallible he was all the time in his notes.
And it helps us to get into this way of thinking that, like, we can like somebody and still realize that they're not the end all be all.
Yeah.
And I think
also that people make mistakes and can grow and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's more, the point I'm more getting at is that this idea, as far as like, once we break down that wall, because a lot of times, like, I remember myself, I'm speaking only for myself, as far as like getting into, who's like, oh yeah, like, he's awesome, kind of this mindset of like, oh, he can't do any wrong. It's like, oh yeah, like, now that I read Lord of the Rings as an adult, there are some things, the way that he describes that are very problematic,
dude,
racially, like, and
I was just gonna say, like, hearing like how Tolkien's so racist, and you're like, no, like, as a white kid growing up, like, no, not at all. And then like you start to like listen to other voices outside of like your own demographic as an adult specifically, and go back to it, and you go, oh no, I was wrong.
And that's the thing. It's part of this growth, and kind of this, again, kind of like back to the whole firearm training safety thing. The more we exercise this ability and get others to do that for themselves, as far as like, your favorite can have things that are problematic, you can still like them. You're not an asshole, you're not racist or wrong or whatever, if you still like that author, even if some of the things that they may have said were problematic. Again, I'm not even saying that Tolkien was was intending to be that way, right?
Well, he's a man of his time.
Yeah.
He's a man of his time. Just
Yeah, he just
put
happened
it
to be
in
kind of progressive. But
yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Um,
Zay.
he's progressive, and then also he's only very limited in his own life experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he was a white guy, Oxford Don.
And a
Like,
Catholic at that.
yeah.
yeah, Catholic too. Yeah, and that's a whole nother story.
Which
And
he
then
didn't agree with everything for sure, but like religious, which is really funny because like the podcast after this is going to be about religion. We're talking religion. So, haha, guys, I'm going to
yeah,
do a little one of those like gotcha moments. It's going to be to myself though. Anyways, sorry. Let's say, do you have anything to add to what David's saying?
well, just to show, because I know David, yeah, you were saying a lot, but
Yeah, sorry.
um,
Welcome to David.
yeah, I know. Welcome to David. But yeah, Tolkien is fallible. Yeah, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that noticed, like, even with some of the characters that he wrote in the book, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of stereotypical of you,
Yeah.
but it's also he was a man of his time. But he
Right.
did show, even in his letters, from what I've been reading, that
Yeah.
he's a man that that he saw the world for what it was, and he made his own decisions about it, and
Yep.
it didn't dim the light that he had. He
Yeah.
was like for like when he what was that letter that he had with I guess they were asking him about the whole Nazi I guess
Oh,
the
yeah.
Oh, the German publisher?
yeah, the German publisher asked him about like his Aryan descent or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And he
Yeah,
goes,
and
"You
then
mean
he
my
was just
Indo-Iranian? Am
yeah,
I
under
Indo-Iranian?"
yeah, that. And
Yeah.
then about how he saw like he called them like a gifted race. Like, yeah, he sees
Oh, he
the
called the Jewish people a gifted race.
a
Yeah.
gifted race. And I'm like, okay, so that means he definitely saw people as, not just like, he probably was a, oh God, dog. My mouth
You could
moving
say.
quicker than my brain again.
It's all good, Zay.
That's a lot of us.
Right.
That's all of us, I feel like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Myself specifically. So
Yeah, I got it. I got it. But it's more of the way he saw struggles from different groups of people around the world.
Mhm.
And he not only did he put that into his writing, he felt the spirit of it and he understood it. Because not a lot of writers get to understand about the struggles of other people. Like he was also against apartheid, and
yeah.
apartheid was very big. And and it's very similar to what we got going on here in our country. And I know he got things correct and he got things wrong. And I think the point is like infallibility, that's part of life. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to accept that. I
Yep.
felt like Tolkien left his work open enough for that interpretation to be like, okay, I know I got things wrong. And I
Well,
Yeah.
and
know
that's
that
the thing is the fact that like Tolkien was fallible 100%. Like there's no like the three of us already like that's we're beating the dead horse if I just keep saying that. But
yeah,
and he knew and he was confronted with stuff and then he
yeah.
changed in his own writings
And his own writings, yeah.
because if you go back to the Hobbit, the way he conceived of the dwarves was the Jewish people, but like stereotypically the Jewish people. And he was confronted with that and he changed the way he portrayed like look at Gimli. Gimli doesn't act anything like the dwarves in the Hobbit.
No,
Not at all. Like Gimli
no,
is such a
yeah,
soft, loving, fierce, protective friend.
yeah.
Like, yeah, he's got that like elven racism, like against the elves, and then Legolas has it against him, and then they become like, in my mind, lovers. I mean, I know they're just
Yeah.
best friends as Tolkien wrote it, but like
And
they overcome. He wrote a story about overcoming racism. Like, I understand that they probably
yeah,
both had white skin in his mind, but they overcame racism. Like
Yeah.
a white man came up with that and was like, listen, if these ancient beings can do this, you can do it.
and
Basically.
then
No,
he
no, no.
made the story. He made the story relevant to where you can understand how it started, and
Yeah.
you could really be on either side. And that's what I
Yes.
really loved about when I was reading this summer earlier for the first time, when it came to like the everything that happened in Doriath, like because that's the
Mhm.
starting point of all this. Like, like of course, the Noglamir was technically the dwarves, but it was a gift to Finrod. But then now you have it, and you have them trying to put a jewel in, and when they come to collect, okay, I see where the whole murder part comes in, but you kind of provoke them in a way so I could like we see where the birthplace of all that hate come from, and it really it's so reflective of how the world is. Like some things just
Yeah.
really started due to just flat out hate and just
Yeah.
prejudice, and how we and just like how, even though we've talked about it before with Galadriel's hair and things like that, how those little moments can really be like an act of kindness between two different peoples can really start to begin healing. And I found that really powerful in that way, just healing like a hurt, like a something like a century long hurt. One act of kindness can really begin to heal a active, an active racial war, whatever you want to call it, in just one moment. It could spread like generations down the line. And yeah, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
No,
and
and
also like that whole thing with Dorath and the Nauglamir. If Thingol would have just kept his fucking greedy ass paws off of shit, that wouldn't have happened anyways. Fuck Elway Singolo.
Yeah,
yes,
Let's all take a
August Cindy
drink for
Glow.
that. Fuck
I mean,
Elway.
so on a couple of different things for that too. Like there
David, I didn't see you
is.
take a drink.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna drink, man. Like
Oh,
yeah,
you
like
just need to do your soliloquy first. Go ahead.
yeah. You guys, look, I haven't been drinking this entire time, man.
speak away.
Even without the prompts. No, but as far as like to add to you guys' point, like there's the whole aspect of the concepts of light and dark too.
Yeah.
I think it was either in Morgoth's Ring or Peoples of Middle Earth, where Tolkien realizes like, oh, people are thinking this is like a literal like racial black and white thing. That's not my intention at all. But I need to actually be better about how I go about actually describing this.
Morgoth's Ring.
Is it Morgoth's Ring? Okay, I
think
can't
it
remember. I know
is.
it's one of those two books that he basically realized like, oh,
There's
this
so
is
much in Morgoth's Ring.
yeah.
Yeah, I have yet to finish reading that whole thing. So
Yeah.
No,
Real quick, David, before you continue, Zay, how far are you along in Tolkien's letters? Since you brought it up, I meant to ask you, but I got
God,
sidetracked by saying fuck LA Singalo. By the way, drink.
I think I'm about, I would say maybe about a third of the way. And plus I've been
Okay.
skipping around. Doing my own.
Are you doing
little
audiobook or are you like actually like reading?
I'm actually reading it. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually reading it and then kind of going back.
Not to
and
say that
kinda-
audiobook, listen, I was told that doing reading books through audiobook or having books read to you activates the same part of your brain as actually physically reading them. So I'm
Yeah,
not talking because I'm an audiobook person. I
I'd
have all the
rather,
texts.
I'd
harder
rather
for me to
do
do
the
that.
audiobook. Yeah, I'd rather do the audiobook at times. And then sometimes I feel like it's not connect. I guess it's just me. I'm just picky. That's why
No,
I like
I
to
get it because like
read.
I want to go back and do the letters with
Mhm.
audiobook and reading it along with the audiobook playing because
Yeah.
technically that's the way I process it the best because I'm an
Yeah.
audio visual person.
That's how I first read Lord of the Rings, was the audiobook and the book at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how I read all three
The
books.
shit
And
cements in your head, right?
it cements in your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
it stays there. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm the same way. Zay, did you say that you're not diagnosed yet? Because brother, I
I
think
need to.
I think you're one of
know
us.
I need to. I know I'm
You
one
don't
of y'all. I
no, you
just
don't
need
need
to make
to.
it official.
No, you don't need to. It's 100% valid to be self-diagnosed. It's 100% valid.
Okay, then
We accept you.
One of y'all.
We accept you.
One
You're
of us.
at the very least ADHD. At the very least.
Oh, and I'm still learning about my own ADHD. It's like
Yeah.
a whole nother side of me that I'm just still learning. And it's
Have you fallen down the TikTok rabbit hole of ADHD yet? Because I did that before I
in
got
terms of what
diagnosed.
oh, what? Oh, just like watching random videos and just jumping
Video
and,
after video after video
yeah,
after
just like,
video
oh
about
yeah,
ADHD and people who have it, and like doctors and people who've been diagnosed,
yeah,
people who think they have it,
actually, I just started
doctors, people who study it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just getting into that because actually a couple
Okay.
have popped up in my feed in the last week.
How
And I'm
old
just
how old do you say?
32. I'll be 33 in October.
Oh, you're starting younger than me. I didn't realize until I was like 35 that, or well,
34. Okay.
because I think TikTok, hold on, 5 years ago. How old am I? 34. I was 34. That's when TikTok came around. 34, 35.
Oh, okay. Yo, we got 5 years, yeah, 20 something. But so yeah, but yeah, like when it comes to my ADHD, I'm just still learning. I knowing my limits, and especially with dealing with active conversation and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it. I get it. I know. I'm just forgive me.
Hey, listen, man, one of us, dude.
Yeah.
We already loved you anyways. Like now it's even
Love
another
you.
reason because like you're so much more like us. Like let me just hold you closer.
Yeah. And I know, and I hate that it comes out like in settings like this, but I mean, at least I feel comfortable around you guys to actually let it happen and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean we've met in person. We've had some drinks.
Yeah.
We
drinks, yeah, absolutely.
we hey grab your drink. We grounded for a
Yeah,
while. Please stop us. You know how many drinks
See,
that
you
is?
did that.
Oh
See,
God.
you did that on
Oh
purpose.
God. That is the end of episode 1. This is unfortunately one of the episodes where I blacked out in and I woke up in a bathtub. Just the dangers of doing the show. Anyways, I will put in the description how to reach David or Zay if you'd like to continue the conversation. Thank you all for coming back. Almian.